Today I'm going to go through a breakdown of how some strategies on how to beat every boss. All right, so by no means is do you have all the champs that I have, but it's going to be more theoretical and strategic in how we are able to do every boss. Okay, so in this rotation, poor example, because in normal I can kill them all. Okay, so let's start with the hardest boss here. The final boss, which is Sorath, the frozen spider. So how we can beat him. So some things to keep in mind. First of all, we got to be fast, and we need a ton of accuracy. This boss has like 300 plus resist, so you're going to need at least 350 accuracy on your champions, specifically the one that drops HP burn. Okay, and the benefit or the reason why HP burn is needed here is because he'll revive if he doesn't have an HP burn on. Okay, so what you got to do is make sure towards the end of the fight you have an HP burn on. Now, in saying that, he also revives the spiderlings if he's not under HP burn and when he revives. Okay, so if he's not killed with HP burn, he'll revive. He'll bring his two little spiderlings on. So if you can get those spiderlings down as quick as you can, that'd be great. If you can put burns on those spiderlings, which will help do the damage to the boss, that's also good. But those spiderlings actually do some damage to you, so you kind of want to get rid of them as quick as you can. He also has a nuke here that removes all buffs, so watch out for this absolutely zero skill, because he's going to remove your buffs and then try to freeze you. Most likely he will freeze you. At that point you can put up some buffs, but just keep that in mind when dealing with this. So the team I ended up bringing in this case was, I actually had 2 burners as parts of this team, and then I had Lady Kimmy, which was increased accuracy buff, so that gave me an additional accuracy, plus I put Drex in the lead for the additional 70 accuracy. So between all of that, Scarg was at 270 already, plus the 50% accuracy buff, plus the 70 here. We're looking at over 350 accuracy, and that was the only way I found these champs could drop their burns. The only reason Duchess and Sifi were part of the mix, honestly, is a little bit of heals, some revives, some debuffs, speed buff, block buffs, increase attack, that sort of thing. So that's how I killed it. I did do full auto, so 22 minutes, 300 turns. It was very slow, but it was doable. The next one is probably the easier of all the bosses, honestly, is Magma Dragon. 85 turns, 4 minutes, and autoable. So what he does is he actually places a hex, decreases turn meters as well, places an HP burn on them, steals some more turn meter, and then so that hex and burn, sorry. Because of that, you do not want to burn this champion, okay? Because if he has HP burn put on him, this passive here removes it and puts a continuous heal up instead, okay? So the team I brought on was a team, this was my team. Narma was there for poisons, for the extensive debuffs, and for additional healing. Sifi was there again for the debuff and the revive should I need it, and a little bit of healing, not so much. Inquisitor I decided to throw in there, mainly because A, he does a lot of damage, with himself. He has an increased accuracy buff to help Narma out and the rest of the team drop those debuffs. But also, he puts out those extra hits when the boss lands those debuffs on us. So when he puts X on everybody, Inquisitors go in 5 additional hits, right? You put Giant Slayer on Inquisitor, and he's hitting, that Giant Slayer is potentially proccing 5 times. And then Doom Priest was there to constantly remove those debuffs on the rest of the team. And basically, Doom Priest was the only one with Hex on her the whole fight. And CP revived Doom Priest, and everyone else stayed alive on their own. So that's how Magma Dragon, probably one of the easier bosses. Scarab King, but the trick here is, and this is the team that I decided to bring on for the higher floor. Lower floor is relatively easy, but if you can have champions with this blood shield ring on them, Scarab is so much easier. Okay, I do have actually quite a few champions. This time around I didn't bring him, but I usually bring Hellier into the fight. He brings his own shield, he brings a debuff push, so all the debuffs that are on our champs he'll push right back. He's high accuracy to resist the debuffs, but also every time he A1s he's putting a shield on himself. And that's the benefit of this blood shield accessory, is you attack with any skill and you automatically have a shield on you, and so the Scarab will not auto attack back. So that is the importance of these shields. Now, the only faction I do not have an blood shield accessory for is Dark Elves, and in this case I bring Cold Heart in just to drop that shield so we can do damage earlier. Blind Seer was there for the shield so that the Cold Heart can nuke without having that damage, without countering. But also she brings an AoE revive should I need it. And then Lady Kimmy was there again for the debuffs. She does bring a nice decreased speed and decreased accuracy. So when the boss is trying to land all its skills, you're dropping its accuracy by 50%, which is pretty good. And then she also has a buff strip, so if he does steal any of your buffs, she can come in and strip all the buffs away, give everyone an increased accuracy buff, which helps. Allure, although she was weak affinity, still did some good damage, not damage, but needed for the turn meter control. And Lady Kimmy was there for the increased accuracy so that she could land more of it. But that's how Scarab King went down. Nether Spider is actually quite tricky. There's many different ways to kill the Nether Spider. One way is to disable and stun the 4 spiderlings. The other way is to just control them. But this is a team that I found actually worked well. Again, 5 minutes, 67 turns, pretty decent. Just took it slow, but didn't need that many turns. And so what ended up happening here, again, Drex in the lead because of burns. He is the weak affinity, so they're going to target him a lot, which means he's pushing that burn back onto all the champions. So right away, everybody hits everybody, and he has a chance to put burns on all 4 spiderlings and the main boss right away. But because of that, the first round we have like 8 or 10 poisons on everybody. So Helior comes in there, takes all that poison and pushes it right back to the main boss, so that the main boss, when they go, has basically a full buff bar of burn and all the poisons. And that's where they'll get their damage from. Duchess was only in there for a revive and some buffs should I need it. But for the most part, all the skills cannot be resisted or blocked. So the block debuffs buff doesn't really help here. I literally brought her so that we can have an AoE revive, and she was better affinity. Volgoth was in there because when everybody hits, Volgoth will put out a leech when hit, which is a great buff to have. When that leech landed, the rest of the team actually gets their HP back very quickly. And then on top of that, extends buffs, debuffs, I should say, with his A1. And then I decided to throw in Venom Mage here. He can stay alive with how I have him built in a regen and immortal set, but also landing that a heal reduction, 100% heal reduction. So if you do hit those side spiderlings, they do heal the boss. So when the spiderlings are attacked, they actually heal the main boss. And then you do not, as much as you can, want to decrease his turn meter, because every time you try and decrease the turn meter, the boss will counterattack back to you and put out more poisons. Plus ignoring 100% of your defense, and the damage is equal to the amount of turn meter lost. So if you're trying to decrease 100% turn meter, his damage goes up 100% and ignores 100% of your defense. And it's based on max HP. So the more HP you have, the more damage he's going to do to you on top of that. So you really don't want to decrease his turn meter here on this boss. So that's how the Nether Spider needs to be killed at the end of the day. You do want to decrease heal reduction on them, and then you kind of want to keep the spiderlings alive, because if he doesn't have a spiderling without the active buff, so you don't want to steal that counter, he's going to hit multiple times, and then of course he will respawn all of the spiderlings, and then all 5 of them, the 4 spiderlings and the boss, will hit you at that time. So you kind of want to just disable them and leave them alive as long as you can. Okay, and there you have it. So those are all the bosses in this rotation, and just a strategy of how to kill them. Those are the teams that I've used in order to kill these bosses. Even on normal, I decided to take a team like this. Miscreated Monster has a shield set, so automatically we came in with shield, so I didn't have to use that shield right away. And then the Cold Heart dropped the shield, Renegade reset, Cold Heart dropped the shield again. We were down below 50% of shield. Geomancer was actually there to put the burn when the boss counterattacks. Geomancer actually does a ton of damage, 100 some odd thousand damage is what Geomancer is reflecting back. So it's worthwhile to bring a Geomancer. That's another strategy. The Nether Spider as well, right? You got to think all 4 of them are hitting you. The boss, I think he does like 150,000 reflect damage to this spider, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, I used him here. And so again, this team I was just playing around. I got a little bit of accuracy on the rest of the team. He was there just to put the decrease or the heal reduction out. Hellier was there to push all the poisons back. Draco was there because the boss is going to have maximum amount of debuffs, and Draco scales by the amount of debuffs on the boss. He'll do more damage. So I think Draco was hitting for like 150,000 on a team like this. So the other thing you want to do when going into these fights is, ideally if you manual them, just to make sure that you have all the skills up by the time the boss is there. Otherwise, it's going to be very tough to do the damage that you need. You can spam skills on the first turn, but then A1 the rest of the turns. It's okay. Vogoth is there. Okay, so now here we are at the boss. So they're going to drop the spiderlings and nuke all of us. Okay, so big hits here. First thing we want to do is get that burn out on the boss, because that burn also drops turn meter. Geomancer just got nuked quite hard. Alrighty. Let's see there, and then because Vogoth got hit, the leech went out, and Geomancer just got all his HP back. Here I'm going to put out the debuffs, or the buffs I should say, and then put out the decrease heal here, and then we're going to push all the poisons back on the boss. Okay, we're going to A1 here, and then we don't have decreased defense, but we're full debuff, so I'm just going to A1, and there we go. We got 100k. Now on this turn, we just need to be strategic with Geomancer because he has an AoE A1. I will be hitting all 4 of these minions on the side, but because I have True Fear, we might have a chance that they don't attack. And I have the burn on him, so when I hit, let's see, we got 1 counterattack, and that's it. Everyone else failed. Same thing here. Well, I killed everyone, and that's not good. So there we go, 140,000, 140,000, reflect. I don't need this. We're still going to do another 80k here, put up some buffs, refresh the heal. Extra turn, extra turn. This is why I have Geomancer and Relentless set. Great for Hydra. Okay, there you go, another 150k, another 140k. Save that, so what do we got? Just refresh that to 3 turns. We do want it yet hit, and that's the benefit here. I gotta put up his buffs. But that's pretty much how to deal with this. We want to get hit there 140k 4 or 5 times. And then we go massive damage, and the boss dies and kills himself. And there you have it. And that's how Geomancer makes this boss easy. Alright, so hopefully that'll help. Hopefully that gets you an idea of how to kill these bosses. Alrighty, so hopefully that helps. And we'll catch you on the next video. Take care, everyone.